esteemed panel. I am honored to welcome you all to our conversation on the topic IT industry's growth trajectory, road to 5 trillion economy. Today, we are privileged to have with us a panel of distinguished experts, each bringing a wealth of experience and insights from various corners and the broader economic landscape which affects the IT industry. From innovative startups to established organizations, our panelists represent the diverse perspectives that shape the trajectory of our digital economy. We have with us on panel. Let's have a round of applause for our panelist, Mr. Sandeep Jain sir, who is co-founder and managing director of EdTech and is also chairman of Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India Association. Let's have a round of applause for Arpit Soni sir, who is the founder of Clearware Technologies and co-chair of Association RSDC IT. Let's have another round of applause for Mr. Paresh Gupta sir, who is founder of GCC Global Foundation and also chairman of Startup Committee of Association. Let's have a round of applause for Mr. Amal Malhotra sir, Global Backbone on Cybersecurity at Microsoft and also Independent Cybercrime Officer for Government of India. We also welcome Chandra Mohla sir, who is the entrepreneur and founder of Hawaii Labs. Let's have a round of applause for him. So, starting with the discussion, journey to a 5 trillion economy is not just a goal. It's a vision that requires strategic planning, collaborative efforts, and innovative solutions. In this digital age, IT industry plays a pivotal role as catalyst in economic growth, driving the innovation and creating employment opportunities as well. Our discussion today will dwell into challenges and opportunities faced by the IT industry as it navigates its path towards the economic prosperity. We will explore the topics ranging from digital infrastructure development, foster the entrepreneurship, from skill development to policy reforms, also from leveraging emerging technologies to address the challenges of society. So, through our conversation, we will aim to uncover the actionable insight and the strategies that will propel the IT industry forward. Without further ado, let us embark on an enlightening journey together, guided by the expertise and vision of our esteemed panelists. I'll start with Sandeep Jain sir. Sir, as you have been co-founder and the managing director of Industry, we would like to understand about the role of established IT companies in driving the economic growth and innovation in the industry.
So everyone understand Hindi also, right? So we'll use the mixed language. So established IT companies, what they can do for the innovation and growth, that's the question, right? Few things definitely they can do. First, they need to come out from their own things. See, we all are busy in our own life and we need to come out of our life. So we do few things like going to academia consistently. So that the next generation leaders are coming, how do we train them? So I was in Purnima University last week and talking to students. So just sharing your experiences, what you have gone through, how do you innovation will come. See, growth is a byproduct, by the way. We cannot create growth, but we can help innovation. Innovation will bring growth. And those young minds, if we nurture them, that they need to get the right directions. That's one thing which we can do. Second thing that we can do, we were just talking outside, so many things, we all were there sitting outside together and many things came out, hardly we collaborate. So another thing which we can do as established IT industry is to collaborate with each other, sharing. So creating those groups and then collaborating, creating an ecosystem. See, and then established IT companies can create that kind of ecosystem. They can invest in that ecosystem. And definitely helping any startup. And then we are mentoring some startup right now under the banner of ASSOCHAM. We are associated with some of them. We entered in the MOU. Just not only mentoring them as a startup, just providing them a low cost, at a cost basis resources. We have a technical expert which can help them. So just mentoring them. So these are the three things which I would say, how can we help the innovation and growth.
Great. Those are great thoughts, sir. I would like to move ahead with the Arpit Soni sir, continuing the discussion. How can startup actually get help and how can it actually leverage the opportunity to connect with the large enterprises and how can they actually get that kind of benefits from the large organization to drive their prosperity as well as the industry prosperity?
Greetings everyone. Audible loud and clear? Audible. Thank you. The question is like how how the startups will be able to leverage the existing players and how we can take things ahead and grow. Right? See, IT is more of a kind of a service industry, right? Logically speaking, if you look into it, like we are living in an IT age right now. Almost everything is tech-driven. You name it, like agri-tech, ed-tech, ed-tech, o-tech, right? So ultimately, like the way these startups are coming up in this particular industry, like they're trying to solve a kind of problem that they're seeing and the kind of solution that they are providing. Now it could be either for a big corporate, like we say, okay, we are looking for an enterprise kind of solution, right? So enterprises are already very established. They might be, so big, they cannot move at a very fast rate, right? That is where the small organizations, what they do, they create a lot of products which are in turn either acquired by the big corporates or even supported something of that nature. So we either do services to the corporates, or if I talk about different aspects altogether, a totally unorganized industry. So small IT companies, what we are doing is like, we create a kind of product for those kind of industry where they can leverage our services and they either do a kind of either revenue generation or maybe some sort of value add-on or could be some sort of process digitization, any kind of value that you see. That is what the startups or the IT small organizations, they are doing and they should be doing.
Exactly, sir. You talked about IT industries as being unorganized in India. But I would like to hear from Bharat Gupta, sir, who has been chairman of Startup Committee at Assocham. What difference do you see in IT sector outside, which has developed, you can say, the Americas or UK's IT industry, and what's the difference between the Indian IT industry?
So I think, I have to put this caveat by the way, that amongst this entire panel, I am the only non-tech graduate. So I come from a commerce background, but I worked across the globe. So definitely, and I would have loved to answer that question more. Irrespective, let's come back to the question.
You can add the thoughts.
Yes. Let's start thinking one. Let's look at US versus India as an economy, right? And now we are differently abled. But if I were to look at how these current IT companies are built, or how do you look at your career? Do you have social security that if you fall sick tomorrow that will be taken care of? There is no social security in this country. So for our country, we have to start thinking of sustainability more than experimentation. And that's the biggest difference for India versus US. So if somebody asks me to compare, my answer is, no, the financial situations are very different. The amount of experimentation that an IT company can do in US and be okay to fail, can you afford to fail 10 times is the question in your life. Your parents will say, beta, go and take a job tomorrow. Right? So the amount of experimentation, in fact I'm happy, there are like one father with two kids sitting right there, okay? And their father is very clear, bhai, humko stable life bhi chahiye. And anybody coming to my career for career advice will come and say this only. Ultimately stability chahiye, safety chahiye. Hum itna experimentation hi nahi kar sakte. So number one difference between India, so that's why we say why India is not focused on innovation. Answer is, give them the security, give them the surety that everything is taken care of, everything will fall in place. So that's number one difference. Number two is, yes, we are desi and we have some bad qualities as well, right? So we are good but we are bad as well. And what we are bad at is, we are so much within our confines and we are so much socially engaged with our lives that we stop looking outside. A lot of times I have seen this, in our family, our structures, the way we are, and Rajasthan is the epitome of it. So Rajasthanis do not want to venture out too much, they want to be here. And those who would leave the state and say, oh, I don't want to be here at all. So then we would step out and say, chalo, let's go only because this place is bad for me. So that thought process of migration, that thought process of not finding the right things here is what is the second part. So that's second difference. So we are in fact, are we as punctual, are we as systematic, are we as structured, are we as organized? My answer is no. We are very desi. We run businesses in a very desi way. We have been doing good, some of them have grown, and we have some of the tech giants, available in the country who have really shown the world that this can be done, but not all are doing. Majority of the छोटे वाले businesses हैं, वो अभी तक unorganized ही हैं, and they need that organization system in place. So that is my second or third difference. The other difference which I see in terms of the mindset of founders is again about not thinking about scaling it very high. आज मैं अगर किसी भी कंपनी से मिलता हूँ, किसी भी फाउंडर से मिलता हूँ, majority of them, oh, I am happy with the service business. They are not okay to productize it so much. They are not okay to experiment on creating that product and say, no, service is fine, I'll do servicing, I'll service US economy, I'll service. So we are a back end. And we have to change from being a back end to a front end. And that's the difference that has to happen in the economy. If I'm starting a startup in US, I don't just think about US market. I think about a global market. If I start a startup in India, I think of servicing that US market, or I think of my Indian market. So these are the only two businesses that I look at. I never think about creating a product which can service the whole world. And I think these are a couple of classic differences. Otherwise, professionally, competence-wise, we are wow. So I can also tell you that competent people in this country are in plenty. And believe me, the amount of tech talent that exists in this country today, we are very good. We are far, far ahead. In fact, yesterday we were having this dinner table conversation in my house. Then my dad said the kind of technology that Jio offers is not available in Europe today. Right? A Spain guy, or in fact, if you look at Mr. Jaishankar's remark, when he went to US, his son pulled out a COVID certificate in paper and he showed it on his phone. That's how we are in terms of technology as compared vis-a-vis the world. Our technology adoption is the fastest. Number of tech users are the fastest. Number of mobile users. Guess the difference between India versus US users. We are 10x more. Right? We are 2x more than China already. And that's the number of tech transactions, number of technology and phones that are being used today. We are there. We have to just create the right products to take it off is what I feel.
So sir, you mentioned about mostly three things, which are one of them are social risk, second is the founder's mentality, and third is the what kind of quality our actually workforce has.
Sure.
I would like to jump to Shankar sir, because the two things you mentioned about the quality of the workforce we have, what kind of challenges and opportunities do you look into the workforce while hiring for a startup, or let's say to get them into the service, as well as about the founder's mentality sir just mentioned.
So I am hello, good evening. Okay, so I'm somewhat agree. So the thing is, whenever any founder is thinking of starting his venture, then the first thing they always need to fight with obviously with their family and with the society, because you are you have to leave some sort of stable job, stable income, and then you need to start, and then you always need to think about because there is no social security, plus there is always a social burden as well on your head. So that's a sort of a trouble. But yes, it's changing. I can see now there are a lot of startups. They are not only focusing on US market, but also even thinking about Indian market. So I even just before this event. We're talking, so I met one founder, they are primarily servicing Indian market and they are doing great, so that's amazing thing to know. And then there are founders who are also doing lot of products, bringing lot of innovations. Even there are companies who are getting listed into even US stock exchange, and they are giving products to not only US market but also Indian market. So that's thing about the founder. And then second, what kind of challenges maybe these startups founders particularly face here. So one thing is mentality, because nowadays we have a lot of access to information. So maybe let's say there is someone who is just willing to start his career. So maybe there some of the friend is working for maybe some big name company. And so they are also think that maybe he's very much brilliant. Maybe he has done really excellent in their education. So maybe they are reaching to that level. But if the employee needs to reach to that level, then he also needs to have a sort of stable mindset and stable thinking of maybe innovating and learning. So if we start thinking about jump from here to there to there, in 6 months, then it won't help anyone, not the startup, nor the employee himself also don't get. But generally the thing is they don't realize when it is right time, but later on after years they realize that actually I gained nothing from working in these 4 or 5 organizations. So I think somebody has to figure out what will suit him best, and then give enough time to learn. So that's our
Totally, sir. So Shankar sir rightly pointed out the mentality of switching between the companies of the youngsters. If there are youngsters sitting out here not from the similar domains and maybe thinking thinking the same, but this is a piece of advice that if you want to be at the better position in any domain, you have to excel into it instead of having this fixing mentality. Along with that, there are different technology are emerging which will be actually driving this growth. So I would like to go ahead with Aman sir. He is Impel Cybercrime Officer for Government of India. How these niche technologies can actually contribute towards the economic growth? Those can be cybercrime or data analytics or anything.
So maybe what I will do is I will use points from everyone so it becomes easy for everyone to correlate. So rightly said, like, do you want to become a Me Too guy and I also do this, or you want to take up something different? Trust me, for example, I've seen all, not everything, of course I'm not that old maybe, but anything that happened after 1995, 1990, I've seen all the innovations. Mobile came in, internet came in, cloud came in, and trust me, with cybersecurity coming in and now AI coming in, this is where the world is moving. And see how you should approach, because I've always, you can say, chased where the innovation is going. So how I would say is, like, for example, think how to approach life personally. Like if today I give you money and I say you buy a land in Jaipur, you will interview 50 people, you will do so many research, you will say, for example, airport ke paas leta hu, future appreciation, and then I say, for example, if you have to invest your money somewhere, you will do 100 research, you will say this stock is better, that stock is better, gold is better, you will do 100 of research. But when it comes to your career, you will say, okay, let me take computer engineering, tried, tested, everybody takes it. Right? But that's not what happens, right? And let me give you a data because, for example, I have been working in the field of AI for almost 2 years now. So every 1 in 6 AI engineer in the world is from India right now. So that's where the world is moving. And I'm sure a lot of you would have tried ChatGPT, at least ChatGPT, right? So that's OpenAI. In the back end, it's generative AI. So that's where the market is going. Whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's IT, everything will move in that direction. And let me tell you why. So, since ages, whatever technology we are creating, the intent has been that the technology should understand us. Okay? But if you see, we are trying to understand the technology. We will learn C, C++, we will learn how to operate a server, we will learn to operate a technology. But for the first time with AI, I feel technology will work according to us. What we are thinking, what we are asking the question, we don't have to learn the technology. So maybe this is the future trend, I would say. And now, if you need to follow your career or follow your passion or follow your, build your services in a company on a tech side or on a cybersecurity side or a consulting side or process side, AI will cut across all of these. So what I feel is, of course, there is a, like I said, Me Too category. You can say, okay, what everybody is saying, I can continue to do. Or you take up what new is coming up, because that's where, if you ask me in blunt language, that's where the money will be in the next 5, 10, 15 years. So if you really want a good career, learning career, high paying reward career, and also you feel satisfied that I am producing something as an employee and as a organization that I can provide to someone, if you show that value. And I think these technologies, of course, cybersecurity is everywhere because of the rising crimes. I'm sure every one of you in this room will be getting at least 1 or 2 calls every day that take a loan or a mail. And like I think in one of the session, one of my friend Gaurav mentioned that everybody would have received an email saying that you have won a lottery of 50 lakh, right? So that's, cybercrime is everywhere. So these are 3-4 new technologies. I would really encourage everybody, whether you are directly or indirectly related to it, explore this, learn, because this is where the industry is moving and this is a new revelation. And all the tech industry, IT tech industry will ultimately converge at that point is what I think. So this is one input from my side.
Thank you so much, Aman sir. So as you rightly mentioned that 1 out of 6 AI experts is from India, but how many of those are in India right now? Many of them flee to other countries and try to have the jobs or work or open up the startups. We have seen so many Indian startup founders out there. So something sir I would like to ask. Sorry. You have been working with Intime Tech and have excelled so much. So what kind of difference do you think that atmosphere at the the talent to the Western countries?
See, one major difference which I see working अगर परेश ने बोला भी था, see we are short on integrity. हम जो बोलते हैं वो करते नहीं हैं. सबसे बड़ा जो चैलेंज अपनी कंट्री में सी वे वेरी हार्ड वर्किंग, टैलेंटेड, कमिटेड, लविंग इंडिविजुअल्स. सिर्फ एक ही जगह कमी है कि वी डोंट डू व्हाट वी से. वी आर लो इन इंटेग्रिटी. उसी वजह से ट्रस्ट डेवलप होता ही नहीं. सी बाहर भी we go many places. India as a country, ऐसा नहीं है यहाँ पे ऐसा लगता है कि सब everybody is praising India, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं. So people don't talk good about India outsourcing. अब उनका ऑप्शन नहीं है. अब उनका ऑप्शन क्या है? यही है, फिलीपींस है, वियतनाम है, इंडिया है, यूक्रेन अभी नहीं है. Then their options are limited and they don't have workforce. तो उनका ऑप्शन नहीं है, then they come to us. यहाँ पे 50% people do really good job, 50% people don't do. तो इस चक्कर में क्या नाम सबका खराब होता है. But that's one thing if we learn. सिंपल छोटी सी चीज है. अगर आपको जैसे एनीथिंग इफ यू डू थिंग्स ऑन टाइम, आपने बोला कि ये टाइम है, मेरे को ऑफिस आना है 8 बजे, तो 8 बजे ऑफिस आना, मीटिंग है, कोई सी एनीथिंग दैट इज स्मॉल, इफ यू कैन डू स्मॉल थिंग्स राइट, यू कैन डू बिग थिंग्स राइट. तो मेजर डिफरेंस जो मैं देखता हूं वो है. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट स्ट्रेंथ आल्सो, क्योंकि सब चीज खराब ही नहीं है. वन थिंग व्हिच आई हैव सीन कनेक्शन, एटलीस्ट आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस्ड, देयर आर डिफरेंट वैरायटी ऑफ एक्सपीरियंसेस पीपल में है. यहाँ पे रिगार्ड है, थोड़ा मतलब इमोशंस हैं, पीपल रियली उसके मैनिपुलेशंस भी हैं, बट उसके बेनिफिट्स भी हैं. somebody get associated and if you are very authentic, दो चीज मैं बोलूंगा, if people learn in India authenticity and integrity, nobody can stop them. authentic अगर हो जाए relationships में, I have seen people will be there thick and thin day and night. That's what I have experienced in my life. You are authentic. तो दो डिफरेंस मेजर देखता हूँ. One thing is you are very loving, committed, hard working. बाहर वालों का फ्राइडे को 3 बजे बाद काम करने के लिए नहीं बोल सकते, और इंडिया में उनको बोलने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. People are responsible. अपने आप देखते हैं कि मेरे को ये डिलीवर करना है, तो they take responsibility and they do that. We have offices in other countries. Very different world out there. It's very systematic, right? So only reason US has grown so much because they are better in flexibility compared to other European and other countries. So that's what I have experienced personally. So that's the major difference which I see.
Sir, I have additional question for you. So, what role can policymakers play in this? Because we can see these are the policies decided by the state government or the government of India, right? The outside countries have also those laws and the related.
So people go for money, by the way, to be very honest. And nobody goes for policy. See, ऐसा policy की दिक्कत नहीं है. एक क्वेश्चन सबको पूछना चाहिए, why you are doing what you are doing? करना क्या है? स्विचिंग है पैसे के लिए, एंटरप्रेन्योर पैसे, सबका फोकस है ना. सी द चैलेंज इज दैट व्हाई वी आर नॉट इनोवेटिव. फोकस इज टुवर्ड्स मनी. फोकस कैन, मनी इज अ बाय प्रोडक्ट, मनी कैन नॉट बी द रीजन. इफ मनी इज द रीजन टू वर्क, देन इट्स अ प्रॉब्लम, एंड दैट्स वेयर एवरीवन फेस इन दिस होल वर्ल्ड, नॉट ओनली इंडिया. आई हैव सीन people go there because they get 10 times more money. That's the only reason. I have seen people who suffer over there, but they still be there because they get money. So वैसा नहीं है कि पॉलिसी मेकर्स, नाउ दिस इज डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन, बट पॉलिसी मेकर्स कैन डू. मैं तो इंडिया की बात करता हूँ. जैसे एसटीपीआई है, गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, बेंगलोर में दे अरेंज अ शो एंड दे अवार्ड द एंटरप्रेन्योर्स. अवार्ड्स एंड रिकॉग्निशन से पीपल, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स फील वैल्यूड. स्टार्टअप्स हैं. राजस्थान में ऐसे इनिशिएटिव्स नहीं है. I don't see that much. I never got in any like not invite. I never saw any event. Event ऐसा को दिखाने के लिए government is running that. Government awards की value है. Private awards is different thing. When government STPI does that, it is a very big event in Bangalore. All the large, I was there in one time, and all these Wipro and Infosys, all of them come over there. So and even founders come there. I was able to meet Ajay Prem in that kind of event. But I am saying this kind of things, one thing government can do. Second thing government can do. See, we can talk about rebate, वो अभी बात करने का मतलब नहीं, but at least government can do to spread the awareness. Government के बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम चलते हैं, पर it knows that, but they can see कॉलेज में जाके उनको अवेयर करना चाहिए बच्चों को कि क्या गवर्नमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स हैं. बहुत सारे बच्चों को आइडिया नहीं लगता. हमारे पास आते हैं, उसको बेनिफिट हुए भी है. यहाँ पे ये जो टेक्नो हब चलते हैं, कई इनको बेटर है, एसटीपीआई में चलता है. Many people are not aware, so they get in touch with right person, they get an idea, then they don't get. थोड़ा सा अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम चलाएं. और that's the second question, but this is completely different from the first one. And then government, that's what I can say policy makers can do. Or they should have a panel from the industry experts. I don't know they have or not. लेकिन 5 से 7 लोगों के साथ expert panel who have already done. Because I know in central government there was a panel got created. One of my friends was there when Modi government picked them. That kind of panel
the first one, the authenticity and integrity of the workforce is very important in driving the business growth.
और entrepreneurs also.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
सभी की प्रॉब्लम है, समाज की प्रॉब्लम है, बच्चों की नहीं है. बच्चे तो I see this generation is better than our generation. I promise you. In integrity, they are better than our generation. That's what I have seen.
Yes, sir. So I would like to move it to office, sir. Sir, you will be expanding your team time to time, right? So you will be hiring from different colleges or universities, you can say. But what kind of skill gap do you see between what actually industry requires and what the colleges or universities or the students have to offer?
Very hard-touching question it is. Okay, so this is something happening multiple times actually. So the way that we expect is like the person at least whom we are hiring, of course from the soft skills, integrity and all that, of course that has to be there. If I want to talk about the technical skills, because I want to talk about the IT softwares right now, right? To be very specific. There is a lot of gap that I personally feel. People say, okay, we are a multi-stack, we are a full stack developer. And I ask them, what is the definition of full stack? He says a front-end HTML, CSS किया है. And then I said, what else? देखो HTML, CSS किया है. They do not have, there has to be a proper. If I say you are doing like you said, like Sandeep said, why you are doing what you are doing kind of concept. If this is I want to be into a technical domain, I want to be a programmer or maybe something of that nature. What I see is like, we tried and tested a CSIT, कर लीजिए, job लग जाएगी somehow, उसके बाद companies आएंगी placement हो जाएगा. But then the expectation of what we say is okay, we are looking for some sort of developing kind of thing. We need some sort of learning capabilities, or at least they should be trainable, right? It's not like that they are not. Of course, when we hire the person, we do a lot of things as well. But there is a lot of gap in terms of what the industry wants and what people say is like, okay, in the mindset that I tell you that I have observed multiple freshers, what they feel is, company में आएंगे, company सिखाई देगी, right? And this is something literally a very dangerous or cancerous mindset that I feel. If you are spending 4 years of your life learning IT, softwares, or CSIT in your college, why are you expecting a company सिखाएगी? That is a huge mentality gap is what I feel. Some of the members I have found, they are just in second year, they are doing honors, right? So they are like, sir, हम लोग खुद learn कर रहे हैं. So that's a kind of एक attitude है कि they are hunger of learning something. So that kind of person, if they are getting, that's a wonderful thing. Otherwise, what I've seen, like this is a huge gap between the expectation that we are expecting in terms of delivery or maybe the technical skill set versus company सिखाई देगी. Otherwise, maybe
can I add up something? Because I am from the education space. So I'll tell you 2 examples of realities of this country. So when I go to a school, मैं काफी सारे schools में जाता हूँ. और आप कभी ना overhear करो what the teacher teaches in the class. and चुपचाप आप observe करो. तो आपको सुनाई देगा, अपना दिमाग मत चलाओ, जो मैं कह रही हूँ याद कर लो. हम दिमाग चलाने गए थे कि बंद करने गए थे स्कूल में. So जो ट्रेनिंग मिली है हमको, for all these years we are trained to shut our brains. We are told not to ask questions, and that is the biggest difference in terms of I've studied abroad. I've studied in London, and the only difference which I see in terms of the knowledge skills is that we are told not to ask questions, not to be argumentative with our teachers and others. And for any other international college, they will say, oh, question till the time you don't come to the right answer. I think so. This is my one big problem that has happened. I'll tell you another example. This is very personal to me because I started a startup in the tech education space, जहाँ पे हमने engineering colleges के लिए बहुत ही amazing product बनाया, 2D 3D animation simulation बना के एक बहुत ही शानदार product बनाया. We got 3 national awards for the business. We were super high on this thought कि हम तो बहुत तगड़ा business करने वाले हैं. हम college में गए, हमने सब जनों को presentation दिया, उन्होंने कहा बहुत अच्छा product है, very good, very good, very good. मैंने कहा खरीदो, उन्होंने कहा खरीदना नहीं चाहते. मैंने कहा खरीदना क्यों नहीं चाहते हो? तो उन्होंने कहा सर जो आप पढ़ा रहे हो ना बहुत अच्छी बात है, पर एग्जाम में ये नहीं आता. एग्जाम में ए और बी लिखना होता है, आपने बताया नहीं. हमने बोला ट्रांसफॉर्मर ऐसे वर्क करता है, ये चीज ऐसे वर्क करती है, सीख तो लिया, बट एग्जाम में तो टीचर तो हमें ए और बी कहाँ लिखना है, करंट कैसे फ्लो होगा, उसका डायरेक्शन तो आप बता ही नहीं रहे हो. एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली द प्रॉब्लम विद द करंट एजुकेशन सिस्टम कि हम हमारे करंट एजुकेशन सिस्टम में बच्चों को इररिलेवेंट तरीके से पढ़ा रहे हैं. दैट इज बिकम आउटडेटेड. अ चाइल्ड टुडे goes back to his house and tell his parents that I know more tech than you, right? So then the parent is teacher feels I know less tech than my child. How do I teach the tech to this child? And that's exactly where the gap is. Today, everything that this kid is exposed to more than what is available in this education institution. ये बहुत बड़ा challenge है हम लोग के सामने. I mean, the whole reason for why GCC exists today is this. And that's the only reason I found it. But yes, sorry, I just had to convey these examples so that.
No, those are actually great examples, sir, and we can actually see the difference between the institutions also. Now, we have Aman sir, who is National Security Scholar from IIT itself, and there are two types of institutions, I would say, in India. One is IIT and other is non-IITs. So what kind of difference do you see, sir, in the kind of offerings from these institutions?
See, I don't want to comment on.
You're trying to create racism here.
But one thing I just want to add on all the points. See, this is a you can say kadwa, sach, whatever. This is a sad reality that whatever we learn, like for example, my first job was at Infosys, standard copy paste, BTech, hired by Infosys, went to Mysore, trained on Java.NET. Trust me, जो भी मैंने 4 साल में BTech में whatever I had studied, I didn't even use a single alphabet in Infosys.
Be it IIT or any other place, it is the same story.
And then slowly and steadily, because okay, maybe after my first job I realized that I did follow a separate route and went for MBA and all those things. But after a point, maybe जो भी what did we say, हृदय परिवर्तन हुआ, but whatever I did, I started following some new technology. That's where I realized that education you have to change on your own. You have to upskill yourself, you have to take that responsibility, and you have to use all this new age techs to your advantage. And then you have to find suitable courses or suitable institute or suitable mediums that can educate you. And that's where after maybe working for 15-18 years, I realized when I'm so deep into, for example, information security, cyber security and all those things, cyber crime and all that, after that I applied for this IIT program and then went in because I thought whatever I have been learning is honestly of no use what I am doing. And I have to keep upskilling myself, and this is maybe a point I would like to mention to everyone, that okay, see, whatever is happening around us is okay, and as founders and as students, we are being taught, and founders are always trying to upskill their force. And as an individual also, I think a point on attitude came up. As an individual, you should have that attitude that I need to learn, and then only you will be able to stay up to the pace. And again, the problem is because not everybody is doing it, but if you have the right attitude, you will 100% succeed, because the people with right attitude, in my opinion, are very, very less, what I see in the ground. So if you are trying hard, even if you are spending like 2-3 hours in a week to upskill yourself and stay up to technology, it will really benefit you. That compounding, it will, like you go to the gym, you will not see the effect, weight loss in day 1, right? But you will see the result. So keep upskilling yourself. Don't rely on what you are learning. Of course, please learn. But without commenting on the institute or anything, but keep yourself updated on what's going on in the world and technologies and everything. That will really help you and your organizations as well.
Exactly, sir. This question is to break that taboo of getting into IT. Kota is not that far from you, right? So that's the difference. Like self-learning is the key to getting into any technology or getting the expertise into any technology. So moving ahead and stepping into the discussion, we have discussed one part for the industry's perspective, growth perspective. One part is the workforce or what kind of contributing factors to it. But now we have to discuss about now India is producing double-digit unicorns. Okay, now these startups are actually contributing towards the industry growth. So I'd like to hear from Shankar sir. So while building the successful technology-based startup, India is a competitive market, no doubt in that. So what kind of things that this market actually offers to you? What benefits or challenges? How is the kind of competition?
Well, in India, when you talk about competition, it's huge. Like beating any space, like you are, like selling any software of any kind for any industry, you have a lot of competition. So, like India, like we are, like number 1 in population, right? So, like let's say you build a product. So I'll talk about strengths, you know. So if you build a product and if you can test that product in India, because you know you will have that many people who actually will use your product, or like if you are building it for industry, you know, you can find out more use cases in India than any other country. And if you can test it here and build for this market, then you can be actually successful in any market. Because you know here like you are not only building a sustainable product, but also you actually need to stay cost effective, need to be like not on the point, you know, like it's straightforward, you know, like if you meet any Indian business and they'll ask, you presented something that, you know, this is what I built. So what do I do? What kind of ROI this product will, you know, bring for me. You know, if I invest like let's say 10 lakh, then it has to give me, you know, at least 50 lakh, right? So this kind of like businesses, you know, will ask you these questions. Okay? So this is one sort of, you know, like a strength I can see in Indian market. Though like you don't make a lot of money here, but at least, you know, it brings you a lot of volume and a lot of, you know, like these capabilities. So that's my say on this.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to hear from three of you about how Assocham is taking any kind of initiatives in terms of fostering the innovation in the startup ecosystem or the students or the educational ecosystem or starting the service.
So, as SHM, we have partnered with some of the startups for the mentoring. Then we need to take it to next level. But it's happening in SHM that there was a list of startups, a list of companies who can provide the mentorship and training. So that's one thing which we are doing. For startup, three things are very important that at least we share, care and empower. So sharing what we have done, caring for what they are doing, and then how do we help them in their daily challenges comes at times. I have seen this. ये बंदा नहीं है, ये कैसे technology नया काम है, इधर वो. If somebody is taking funding, then there is pressure for that also. So caring and just helping them, because we have seen that journey earlier, and empowering through our resources. So that's it. What we are doing as a company, because I'm providing mentorship to 5 companies right now, and then Assocham was the platform where like it started, and there are a couple of came from outside. But that's how it happens in Assocham.
Okay, so we started off with one thought which was there. What we felt missing in the city was industry startup connect. And I think what happens is there's a startup community, and those startups are working in silos in their own self. DOIT comes in, or some government agency comes in, or some incubation center comes in, and they're again in the startup world only. What we felt was missing, and then everybody's only talking about funding. But that was one thought which we actually initiated, which was like bring industry and startups. For example, you are an agri-tech startup, for example. Can we get a good big size agri-industry from Assocham to mentor this agri-tech startup, which is a small startup, to meet a big guy who has already done that. So that is one thing which we started. We have a quarterly, startup investor connect meet, which happens again in the same building, Technology. So we do this every quarter. We select a theme. So for example, we have done EdTech, we have done FinTech. We have not done FinTech. EdTech, we have done D2C, we have done Agri-Tech, we have done, So we select one sector each, and then we take all the top good startups in that sector, filter them out, then we curate them. So we help them out with making their business plans, pitches, everything. Then we present them in front of investors, and we make them pitch in front of investors, and they get funded. So I can be very honest to say that almost every series we got one startup funded, right? That's so small or big, which is not the case, but there was funding. Also the government policy, as far as the government funding policy is concerned, current government policy talks about that if a startup raises funding from one investor, which is a VC, then government will do a matching funding. So if you get even 10 lakh rupees, technically you can consider funding as 20 lakhs, because government is going to match that funding. Of course, and then we try to bridge the gap, because it is not easy for everybody to get into the government. So this is one thing which are doing. I'll also tell you we have a startup council, and as Sandeep is mentioning, I'll be very honest, 40% of the council comes from education background, either school or college, and they are there in the universities and colleges to actually spend and create that visibility. So I think we all are anyway there creating that noise in the startup ecosystem, telling students and everybody else, do a startup, this is the policy, this is what you can do, and this is how you can reach out. Third thing which we are yet to start, and which is going to start from April, in fact March, is to start a monthly online startup series. And where we want to have people, but we will have, sector driven things. So we don't want to just make it generic. So we just don't want to have startup gyan overall, but we want to be very focused, get an expert, have a conversation, and let people understand and ask questions, so keep it open to that. We're also starting a couple of new initiatives, can't disclose it right now till the time it is finalized by the committee overall, but there are a lot of plans already. But this is what we have been doing at the moment at ASSOCHAM. Yes, we're one of the most active players in this. In fact, we were the first ones to sign the MOU with BOIT as compared to any other industry ecosystem player to work on the IT sector and startup space.
So there are a couple of more things I would like to add here, along with what I said. So one is that recently we have signed MOU with some of the startups as well. So one thing that ASSOCHAM is doing, bringing the industry players along with the startups. As I mentioned earlier, ultimately what's the end goal? Providing the services and providing some sort of solution, right? And this is a real-time example I have observed over there. So there was an event where all the big industry players were there and the startups were there. Now, this is a platform where startups can go and talk to the industry player. Boss, this is something, an idea I'm trying to build. You think this is something valuable to you guys? You asked this question earlier also, right? How small startups can grow? So this is a platform where stable industrialists and very new venture startups, they are talking to each other, thinking, doing some sort of brainstorming. Perhaps even validating whether this idea that I am thinking, because when you think something, you feel, oh, this is the best thing in the world. But practically, when you go to the market, things are very different. So this is a platform where these two kind of community, they talk to each other. Even they get a kind of valuable insights in terms of maybe the idea, maybe the market size, maybe करना भी चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए. Maybe you can think in this way as well, whether it's just a will or it's your desire or is it something really in need of the market for this particular industry. So that is what ASSOCHAM is also providing. Thank you.
About startups, I don't think there can be better terms than this.
Yeah,
So it has been in last पिछले 10 सालों में now the kind of collaboration startups can get, it was not available earlier. It's the best time for people who want to do something.
But it's those are the actually great initiatives, as well as the one important thing which ASSOCHAM is providing, which is mentoring at the right time, right stage, which is the most important thing, I believe. Also, getting ahead, as we are the IT industry, startups, mid-sized companies, large enterprises are developing different products or service products. No, they have to adapt the cybersecurity solutions, right? Because now the data is at risk. Data is, even if the data is new oil, it is still at risk. Okay. So, Aman sir, I would like to hear from you how the startups or mid-sized companies as well have these challenges to adapt cybersecurity solutions, or how can they actually leverage it?
So see, cybersecurity, again, the hard reality, you can't ignore it for now. And we also have data protection bill passed by the government of India now. So data, again, is very useful for business, but it is also your responsibility if you are capturing data to protect it. Again, I'm not going into technical details, but at a high level, data is managed in 3 phases. Data when you are using it, data when data at rest, and data in motion when it's traveling, right? So it becomes your responsibility to protect it, ensure all the businesses, your systems and everything, the entire security by design is implemented. Now I do acknowledge the fact that, for example, if I am a founder or if I am a entrepreneur who have started my business, my prime focus will be to grow the business, to establish a market, to prove my model that this is working, and maybe once I have established myself, I have a base, I will think about other initiatives and I will try to optimize, bring in security and all those things. So I acknowledge that fact, but the tech world, again, coming to the first point we discussed, the tech world that we live in, and because everything is driven by tech and data nowadays, so it becomes our responsibility to ensure that whatever we are doing, we are trying to secure it, because nowadays, again, one attack and you will be trending on Twitter in 5 minutes. That's the sad reality. And again, the hard part on my side, at least personally in my job, Microsoft today is the biggest and the #1 attacked company in the world, even about US government. So we had some sleepless nights and you would be hearing a lot of things, and especially with all this China-Russia stuff going on and not going into detail. But coming to the more relevant thing, what can be done is, there is a model that is created. I don't know the exact name, maybe I can share it again offline. But there is a very good model, a research paper that was published by MIT, which created a matrix showing that, for example, when you are a startup, when you are in your first 5 years of your company, how you should adopt and invest in security, because you cannot hire, for example, you cannot hire a chief information security officer, you cannot hire a security team. So how you should go about it till you become a large enterprise. So I think that's a good matrix to follow, because again, acknowledging the fact that any company or any startup will not invest, their prime focus will be to bring in business and establish their model first. They also acknowledge the fact that security is important, so we have to find the balance between the two. And there are some good matrices available. One that I mentioned that personally I like, which is from MIT published. So do check that out, and I think it's all about finding the right balance. You can't ignore it, but you have to live with it.
Exactly, rightly mentioned, the balance is everything, right? So here students are actually enthusiastic about asking questions, and maybe they will be having different doubts. So their questions are important than mine. So let's start with the Q&A. If anyone has any questions, raise hand.
मैं कर दूंगा नहीं है इट्स वेल फर्स्ट आई वेलकम यू कि आप लोगों ने इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए निकाला और आई अप्रिशिएट कि इंडस्ट्रीज में जो संदीप ने भी कहा था कि इस तरह के कनेक्ट छोटे या बड़े इनिशिएटिव्स होने पड़ेंगे। तो फर्स्ट थिंग कि अभी भी अपन देख रहे हैं कि कई लोगों के बीच में जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं कि कनेक्ट नहीं है, इंफॉर्मेशन की इशूज़ हैं, गवर्नमेंट के जो इनिशिएटिव्स हैं वो गवर्नमेंट के लिए बहुत अच्छे हैं और गवर्नमेंट के प्राइवेट्स के लिए नहीं है। इसको मिलके जो करना है उसमें अपन क्या क्या कर सकते हैं, और क्योंकि जो बच्चे हैं, क्योंकि एक तो सेकंड जो कनेक्ट होता है ना, इट्स टू गुड की बात करें अपन, तो बीच बीच में अपन कनेक्ट के अंदर दो जनों को जो मैं जो करता हूँ बीच में कनेक्ट करके पूछ लो क्या समझ में आया क्या नहीं आया, कि अगर सेशन के अंदर ये बच्चे लोग जो हैं जिनको अपने को नेक्स्ट अपन कहते हैं कि सबसे बड़ा टैलेंट हमारे इंडिया में है, और उसके अंदर सबसे बड़ा फायदा है कि सबसे ज्यादा टैलेंट के बाद में सबसे ज्यादा यूथ बिफोर ग्रेजुएशन राजस्थान में, सबसे ज्यादा एजुकेशन के लिए यहाँ पे आता है राजस्थान में, और पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन सबसे ज्यादा माइग्रेट राजस्थान से होते हैं। हाउ वी कैन स्टॉप दिस थिंग, कैसे होल्ड कर सकते हैं, कैसे उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज यहाँ पे दे सकते हैं, दैट्स मेरा दिस इज माय मिशन, दिस इज माय टारगेट कि ये पलायन यहाँ रुके, स्टेट में लोग बाग रहे, फैमिली से बाउंडिंग भी रहे, और जो उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलनी चाहिए वो उसके लोकल एरिया में इसकी अपॉर्चुनिटीज आनी चाहिए। तो व्हाट यू थिंक, इसलिए मैं क्या करना चाहिए? इट्स ओपन क्वेश्चन फॉर जो इसको अच्छा लगे। परेश जी तो ही इज अ मास्टर इन स्पीकिंग, आई रिक्वेस्ट कि संदीप जी इज डूइंग गुड। संदीप जी आप बताएं, क्योंकि आपके पास में दोनों चीजें, यू आर वर्किंग फॉर नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल, सब जगह कर रहे हैं, तो हम कैसे ये पलायन रोके और यूथ को कैसे कनेक्ट करेंगे? यूथ जो है सबके पास में ये टाइम पास है, इट्स आप इसको कहते हैं इट्स यूटिलिटी, इट्स ए लाइफ बॉम्ब, इट्स द बॉम्ब इज टेकिंग आवर टाइम, और सबसे बड़ा टाइम हमारा ये बॉम्ब खा जा रहा है, विच वी डोंट नो, स्पेंडिंग ऑन यूट्यूब और व्हाट्सएप और स्मॉल रील्स। आज अपन आधे घंटे का 1 घंटे का सेशन कर रहे हैं, आप ईमानदारी से करो 15 मिनट की भी आप और हम भी जो है ना, किसी का लिखा हुआ है ना सेशन पढ़ना है सुनना है, हम नहीं देखेंगे, बट हम 30-30 सेकंड की हम 1 घंटे तक रील्स देख लेंगे। Am I right or wrong? हैं? तो जो हमारे जो बाइट्स है ना, उस बाइट्स के अंदर ये चीज है कि हम लोगों को जो एजुकेशन मिले या चीज मिले, उसके लिए वो सब कनेक्ट जरूरी है, एंड दैट इज पुट द कनेक्ट, तो इनका फ्यूचर बनेगा। तो ऑन दिस आई वांट योर वर्ड्स।
जैसे पलायन रोक कैसे अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट करने की
पीछे जाओ।
मोस्टली यंग पीपल नीड अपॉर्चुनिटीज, तो कितना कनेक्ट करेंगे? सी वी हाउ डू वी क्रिएट, वहीं पे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स का या जो एस्टैब्लिश्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का रोल है कि दे कीप क्रिएटिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी, क्वालिटी अपॉर्चुनिटीज। वन थिंग व्हिच वी हैव डन, व्हाट सैलरी वी पे इन जयपुर और वी पे इन बैंगलोर इज एक्जेक्टली सेम, वी डोंट डिफरेंशिएट। अगर वहां ज्यादा देंगे तो हम खुद ही डिफरेंशिएट कर रहे हैं, तो बाकियों से क्या एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे? सो वी स्टार्टेड डूइंग दैट अक्रॉस ऑल लेवल्स। तो एक चीज है कि कैसे हम ज्यादा ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट कर सकें, जैसे आपने इवेंट कराया, एटलीस्ट वी वर एबल टू टॉक बिटवीन ईच अदर, बच्चे आए हैं, बच्चे देख रहे हैं, At least creating, see कहीं ना कहीं media is very helpful if they can do. बाकी जगह मैं देखता हूँ बहुत सारे events होते हैं, जैसे बॉम्बे में देखते हैं, बेंगलोर में देखते हैं, बहुत सारे events होते हैं. राजस्थान में I think this is the first time I'm attending this kind of event जहाँ पे at least लोगों को जोड़ने का काम किया. That's very much needed. कि उनको idea भी नहीं रहता कि यहाँ हो क्या रहा है. तो mostly के टेंड है, अगर कंप्यूटर साइंस के लिए बेंगलोर जाने का है, नेचुरल टेंडेंसी है. Today in Jaipur 20,000 IT professionals are there. तो ऐसा नहीं कि अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट हो रही है, टाइम लगता है किसी चीज में, बट यहाँ पे सभी को भी ये लगता है कि ज्वेलरी है जयपुर में. दिस इज नॉट ट्रू. लाइक अवेयरनेस के लिए ये कोलैबोरेटिव सेशंस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट्स व्हाट आई सी वी गो टू एकेडमिक्स ऑल द टाइम. मतलब बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेज में जाते हैं एंड वी जस्ट क्रिएट अवेयरनेस. जैसे गवर्नमेंट के भी कोई काम है तो अवेयरनेस की कमी है बहुत ज्यादा यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स में. दे टेंड टू फॉलो द नॉर्मल रूट विच दे हैव. So talent रोकने के लिए definitely we need to create more opportunity. That's what we see. We are doing it. We are working hard on this one as much as we can. That's what I can say.
नहीं, इसी के लिए हम लोग ने भी किया कि आई एम जस्ट डूइंग दिस थिंग कि मेरे को अच्छा लगा कि इस तरह के सेशंस करें. वी डेवलप, मैं मोदी जी का एक अच्छा कहूँगा तो आप ब्लाइंड फ्लॉवर्स कह सकते हैं मेरे को. उनका एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है, ही सी ओनली द इंटेंशंस. इंटेंशन ऑफ द पर्संस पे मोदी जी देखते हैं कि इसका इंटेंशन कैसा है. वो ये नहीं देखते कि इसका रिजल्ट क्या आएगा. If he is doing, small person is doing a good in intention. उसके 3 एग्जांपल हमारे पास 3 स्टेट के सीएम्स हैं. उन्होंने इंटेंशन देखा, उसका एक्सपीरियंस नहीं देखा, उसका हार्डवर्क नहीं देखा, उसका फैमिली बैकग्राउंड नहीं देखा. बट ही फील्स कि आप ये योर इंटेंशन इज गुड तो यू बिकम गुड एनी ऑफ द चांसेस. तो हमें लोगों के इंटेंशंस को अगर हम स्टूडेंट्स में अगर स्टार्टिंग से बूस्ट करें तो शायद उसका फर्क पड़ेगा.
We work very closely. मैं आपको बता दूं जैसे हमारे जैसे we hire people 3 से 4 साल में they really work hard, they become lead also. Our attrition is less than 5% in leadership roles right now. हमारे पास लगभग 100 से ज़्यादा leadership team है. The attrition is less than 5%. Only we need to work very closely. See then how do we read those intentions and we work closely with them. तो आपने जो बोला जैसे I'm extending it.
I would add up. I know you look.
पर ये हिंदी में है.
हाँ, मैं बिल्कुल हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ.
क्योंकि ये हमें इनका जो कनेक्ट है ना.
अच्छा.
तो राजस्थान में हमारे साथ में जो इश्यूज जो मैं फेस करता हूँ और मेरे पास में जो फीडबैक्स आते हैं, डीए मीडिया भी कह लूँ और एज ए स्पीकर भी, हमें अपनी मातृभाषा को मारवाड़ी भी हो या हिंदी भी हो, उसको हम अगर प्रमोट करेंगे ना तो उसमें आनंद अच्छा है.
मैं एक्चुअली वही बोलने वाला था. I'm sorry. You know, I have to keep switching between languages. वैसे नहीं बिल्कुल सही है. क्योंकि ना आज का जो टॉपिक है ना, एक्चुअली हमने उसको इनकम्प्लीट था, क्योंकि जो मुझे लिखा था वहाँ पे लिखा था आईटी इंडस्ट्री इज गुड ट्रैजेक्टरी टू मेक इंडिया 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी.
दैट्स ट्रू.
और वो जो इकोनॉमी का 5 ट्रिलियन का गोल है ना, वो जयपुर में, बॉम्बे में, बैंगलोर में बैठ के होगा ही नहीं. वी हैव टू बी इन द टियर 2 टियर 3 टाउन्स एंड विलेजेस जहां हम नहीं जा रहे हैं. अगर सेशंस और इवेंट्स भी हो रहे हैं तो जयपुर में ही होते हैं. मैं जयपुर में जो क्वांटम ऑफ इवेंट्स है वर्सेस मैं पूरे स्टेट के सारे इवेंट्स को कंबाइन करूंगा ना, तो भी जयपुर में उससे ज्यादा इवेंट्स हो जाते हैं. And imagine कि जयपुर is only comprising of let's say 5-7% of the entire state population. तो आपका 95% population इसको access ही नहीं कर पा रहा है. Similarly, all startups, all businesses, हमारी इकोनॉमी में सबसे बड़ा पार्ट ही इस रूरल एंड टियर 2 टियर 3 इकोनॉमी का होने वाला है, जिसके ऊपर अपन ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं. जितने बड़े स्टार्टअप्स को खुद से पोटेंशियल और अपॉर्चुनिटी का है, अपॉर्चुनिटी है ही एक्चुअली वही है. इंडिया में इंडिया वर्सेस यूएस डिफरेंटली तब होगा जब हम गांव के लिए एक स्टार्टअप खड़ा करें. राइट. मैं लिटरली बता रहा हूँ, बाढ़ में गया था अभी और वहां पे से घूंघट में क्लैड लेडीज थी जिनको कुछ भी लिखना पढ़ना नहीं था, सब YouTube के अंदर ना गाने सुन रही थी. तो सारी लेडीज तक को YouTube चलाना सबको आता है. राइट. सबको हिंदी में कुछ लिखना बोलना, वॉइस असिस्टेंट से काम करना आता है, फोन सबके पास है, बट हमारे पास एक्चुअली जेन्युइन प्रोडक्ट्स ही नहीं है उनको देने के लिए. सो आई थिंक द इकोसिस्टम वो बिना गांव तक जाएंगे या लोग टियर 3 लेवल पे एटलीस्ट इवेंट्स, कनेक्शन, स्टार्टअप्स और एक्टिविटीज वो करे बिना नहीं होगा. दिस इज माय टेक. इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. अब प्रॉब्लम है कि मैं किसी स्टार्टअप को बोलूं अजमेर में जाके सेटअप करो तो उसको इकोसिस्टम ही नहीं मिलता. उसको वहां पे सर्विसेज, अपॉर्चुनिटीज, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, लोगों का एक्सेस, नॉट ओनली एम्प्लॉइज का एक्सेस, बिजनेस का एक्सेस, वो सब चाहिए. तो आई थिंक इट इज नॉट ओनली जस्ट कनेक्शन. है ना, संदीप सर, कितना कनेक्ट करोगे, कनेक्ट कर लोगे तो उसके बाद क्या होगा.
इसके बीच में एक ऐड करता हूं. इसके लिए जिम्मेदारी आपके राइट हैंड में बैठे हुए ना, वो एमएनसी कंपनी के अमन मल्होत्रा जी जैसे लोगों की है. क्योंकि बड़ी कंपनी, बिकॉज इफ आई से ना आई हैव अ लिमिट, मैं यहाँ पे काम कर रहा हूँ या मैंने ऑर्गेनाइज किया, मेरी लिमिटेशंस है, प्लस माइनस 100% होगा. बट द एमएनसी कंपनीज हैज लॉट्स ऑफ द बजट, और वो क्यों इंडिया में करती है, क्या करती है, उससे एक अलग तरीका होता है. क्या हम इस तरह की कोई चीज करें जिससे जो परेश का कहना है टीयर 2 और टीयर 3 उसके अंदर चीज हो, बिकॉज ऑडियंस ये जरूरी नहीं कि ऑडियंस हमारे पास 10 हो या 20 हो 50 हो, आज एक होगा, क्योंकि आई बिलीव कि रविन्द्रनाथ टैगोर ने कहा था एकला चालो रे, व्हेन यू जस्ट क्रिएट ए रोड, आप पहले हल्का सा करेंगे तो उसके अंदर 4 आदमी आएंगे तो रोड और अच्छी होगी, फिर 8 आएंगे तो चौड़ी हो जाएगी, पर यू हैव टू टेक इनिशिएटिव्स एंड योर कंपनी हैज दिस काइंड ऑफ द पेशेंस कि वो आप ये इनिशिएटिव्स लेने वालों को ना प्रमोट करें, वर्किंग करें, छोटे छोटे टीयर 2 टीयर 3 में एक एक दो जो है ना आपको स्टार्टअप चैंप्स बनाए, बिकॉज वी हैड क्रिएटेड वन एक्टिविटी दैट इज टेक इनोवेटर्स। आज मेरे कहूँगा तो शायद इंडिया के अंदर 70 कॉलेज या यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर इनोवेटर्स आर वर्किंग फ्रॉम डे फर्स्ट, और उनका पर्पस ये है कि भैया इंडस्ट्रीज को ग्रो कैसे करना है, इंडस्ट्रीज में क्या चैलेंजेस आ रहे हैं और क्या तुम्हारे थॉट्स है। तो ये अगर आप लोगों की तरफ से आएगा तो क्या लगता है कि माई कंपनी से टू स्मॉल, अरे यार आईटी वॉइस में जाके किसको देखना है, किसको क्या करना है, या माइक्रोसॉफ्ट है यार, इट्स अ ब्रांड, वी हैव टू गो देयर। So that's kind of initiative you have to take. As Indian you have to take, as US have to take.
सर आई एग्री एंड अभी फाउंडर का एक दूसरा एंगल अगर मैं बताऊं अपना खुद का पर्सनल, आई वेंट आउट 22 साल 25 साल पहले मैं बाहर गया, मैं बैंगलोर ही गया, कॉपी पेस्ट बीटेक किया, बैंगलोर गया, चेन्नई, पुणे, हर जगह काम किया। एक पॉइंट के बाद जब लगा कि अब ऐसा ग्लोबल लेवल पे आ गए हैं, देन आई टुक रोल्स अकॉर्डिंगली एंड आई मूव टू जयपुर। अभी इन जयपुर एटलीस्ट इफ आई टॉक अबाउट माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, वी हैव लाइक इन नॉर्थ ऑफ इंडिया कोई भी टियर 2 सिटी हो, चंडीगढ़ या कोई भी और भी सिटी हो, जयपुर में सबसे ज्यादा पार्टनर है एंड जयपुर में वो इकोसिस्टम बन चुका है। सेकेंडली इन माय लास्ट कंपनी ऑल्सो, जो मैं लास्ट कंपनी थी वो भी सिक्योरिटी की थी, तो मैं आपको एक माइंडसेट बताता हूँ। तो अभी जैसे हम सिक्योरिटी में बनाते हैं सॉक, सिक्योरिटी ऑपरेशन सेंटर, जिसमें क्या रहता है लोग 3 शिफ्ट में काम करते हैं और कम से कम 300 लोग आप हायर करते हो, 1000 लोग, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स उसको सेटअप करने के लिए एक्स्ट्रा वर्कफोर्स। तो जब हम रिव्यू कर रहे हैं तो ट्रस्ट मी, और ये जो रिपोर्ट्स आती हैं जो डेलॉयट की आप सारी रिपोर्ट्स होते हैं, हर कंपनी आज की डेट में मैसूर, इंदौर, जयपुर ऐसी सिटीज पे ही ध्यान देती है। ऑफ कोर्स जब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैं हूँ, इफ आई हैव टू, जैसे मैंने अभी अपनी टीम में एक बंदे को हायर किया है जयपुर से, तो हम लोग ऐसे करते हैं। मेरी टीम में लास्ट कंपनी में मेरी टीम में एक बंदा था, आई हायर्ड हिम फ्रॉम नैनीताल, एक लड़की को मैंने हायर किया इन कोयम्बटूर। तो फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम ओपन टू हायर इन एनी टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटी, मेरे लिए कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है, बिकॉज पर्सनली मैं यहाँ से निकला हूँ एंड आई हैव लैंडेड बैक समहाउ, लकीली, आई डोंट नो कब तक, बट एटलीस्ट आई विल ट्राई टू सी कि इतना अपॉर्चुनिटी बन जाए कि मेरी कल को मेरी आगे की जनरेशन यहाँ रुक पाए, और अदरवाइज वी कैन ऑल कोलैबोरेट कि कल को मेरे भाई और माय फ्रेंड्स एंड माय किड्स कल को कैन फाइंड अ जॉब इन जयपुर एंड कैन सेटल हियर। तो ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव दैट इंटेंशन। अब देखो कैसे।
इट्स अ लास्ट क्वेश्चन एंड वी आर जस्ट क्लोजिंग, और लास्ट क्वेश्चन भी नहीं है, सिर्फ इसको मैं एक एड्रेस की तरह से आप इसको लीजिए। यू हैव चाइल्ड कितने?
एक।
और आपके फादर मदर कहाँ हैं?
मदर है सर, वो अभी दिल्ली में है, यहीं रहती है, बट अभी दिल्ली में
और आप
जयपुर में रहते हैं।
ठीक है, ये एक मेरा सबसे बड़ा पेन पॉइंट है। मैं तो ठीक है हैप्पी कहूँगा यार, टू हैप्पी मैंने मैनेज किया। डू वन थिंग कि बच्चे आपके साथ रहें, आप अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ रहें, ऐसी बिजनेस की अपॉर्चुनिटी हम क्रिएट करें, ऐसा इकोसिस्टम अगर हम क्रिएट करें तो इंडिया हमारा वापस से विश्व गुरु बनेगा। हम हमारे पेरेंट्स को थर्ड आई ऑफ सिक्योरिटी ना प्लान करें, और जो है इकोसिस्टम आईटी के थ्रू पे, आईटी में वो इकोसिस्टम है, बिकॉज मैंने वो चीज देखी है, और पेरेंट्स ने बच्चों को बहुत अच्छा पढ़ा दिया, बच्चे पढ़ के बाहर चले गए, पेरेंट्स से कुछ हुआ, नो सपोर्ट, एक्सपायर हो गए, हम यूट्यूब पे देख रहे हैं, सॉरी लाइव वीडियो कॉल पे हम उनको अंत्येष्टि कर रहे हैं। ये हमारा इंडिया नहीं था। आईटी में सबसे ज्यादा स्कोप है, आईटी में सबसे ज्यादा जॉब है, हमें जॉब की अपॉर्चुनिटीज टियर 2 और टियर 3 में स्टार्ट करनी है। दिस इज माय विजन, और यही एक आईटी विजन को लेके हम वर्क कर रहे हैं। थैंक्स फॉर यू ऑल ऑफ दिस, कि मेरी तरफ से किसी बच्चों को अच्छा लगा हो तो कुछ बोलना चाहता है कोई? तो वी जस्ट या
सर मैं एक पॉइंट ऐड करना चाहता हूँ। इट इज माय फर्स्ट टाइम इन आईटी वॉइस एक्सपो। आई एम करंटली अ स्टूडेंट।
हिंदी में
मैं एक स्टूडेंट हूँ, बट मैं एक बिजनेसमैन बनना चाहता हूँ। इसका रीजन ये कि मैं अभी सेल्सफोर्स में काम करता हूँ और रिसेंटली मैंने एक डेटा स्टेटिस्टिक्स देखा है कि वर्ल्ड में यूएस में 145 आई थिंक 145,000 सेल्सफोर्स डेवलपर्स हैं और इंडिया में ओनली 45,000। आप किसी को कहो कि सेल्सफोर्स में मैं काम करता हूँ तो वो सामने वाला कहता है कि आप सेल्स में काम करते हो, बट एग्जैक्टली इट इज नॉट।
देखिए ये आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है। मैंने आपको इसी क्लाइंट में कहा था एकला चालो रे, यू स्टार्ट द वर्किंग। आपको अगर समस्या आ रही है ना, उसका समाधान आप स्टार्ट करो, शायद आपका समाधान 4 लोगों को भी काम आएगा। अपन लोगों की समस्या ना बने, अपन लोगों के लिए समाधान बने।
सर मेरे को सिर्फ 1 साल हुआ है सेल्सफोर्स के बारे में
भाई,
काम करते और मैंने
it doesn't feel-
देखी है
they start on the same day।
कि मैं स्टूडेंट्स को अवेयर करूं कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली सेल्सफोर्स है। इंडिया में 140 करोड़ में से सिर्फ 45,000 सेल्सफोर्स डेवलपर्स क्यों हैं? क्या रीजन है इसका?
इसका रीजन जो है ना, इसका रीजन है कि हमारे पास में इकोसिस्टम नहीं है। जैसे इन्होंने कहा था, हमें वो इकोसिस्टम भी डेवलप करना है
एग्जैक्टली
और उस इकोसिस्टम के लिए हमें छोटे छोटे लेवल पे करना है, छोटे छोटे क्लस्टर पे हमें करना है इकोसिस्टम डेवलप। क्योंकि बड़े क्लस्टर में अगर हम जाएंगे तो बड़े कंपनीज के पास में भी इतनी जॉब नहीं है। आज हमारे साथ एक प्रॉब्लम है कि हम कहते हैं हमको सबको सरकारी नौकरी मिल जाए, नहीं मिलेगी। छोड़ दो सरकारी नौकरी का सपना, छोड़ दो। आप अपनी स्किल डेवलप करो, आप 2 जनों को रोजगार दो, खुद रोजगार दो। सरकारी नौकरी छोड़ दो तो ये सारे सेल्स है ना, वो सेल्स फोर्स की जगह सबकी सेल्स की बड़ी बड़ी फोर्स हो जाएगी। आर्मी से बड़ी हमारी फोर्स होगी, जो आईटी की कह लो या लोगों की कह लो। दैट वी हैव टू डू दिस काइंड ऑफ मिशन यू हैव टू टेक।
सर एक बार मैं और ऐड करना चाहता हूं कि सेल्सफोर्स को सीआरएम को एक्सप्लोर कर रहा था तो उसमें कुछ फीचर्स मुझे मिले कि जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल अप्रूवल प्रोसेस, रोल्स, प्रोफाइल, सिक्योरिटी सेटिंग्स एंड केसेस, अपॉर्चुनिटीज अकाउंट। तो मैंने ये एनालिसिस करा कि जो ये सारे सिस्टम्स है ये कहीं ना कहीं बैंक से संबंधित है, क्योंकि बैंक में भी रोल्स होते हैं, अप्रूवल प्रोसेस होता है, केसेस होते हैं। अभी मैं कुछ दिन पहले मैंने पासबुक प्रिंट के लिए मैं गया तो वहाँ मुझे मतलब मैं वापस आ गया तो मुझे पता ही नहीं चला कि मेरा केस जो मैंने रेज कराया पासबुक प्रिंट का वो कहाँ तक किसी स्टेज पे पहुँचा है।
इट डजंट मैटर, ये छोटी छोटी चीजें चलती रहेगी। इन समस्याओं से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। सॉल्यूशन हर चीज का है ना, उसका सॉल्यूशन निकल सकता था ना, आप निकाल सकते थे ना, तो शिकायत नहीं करनी।
उस कंप्लेंट को अपर लेवल रेज कर दिया थोड़ा सा,
ठीक है।
सर, मैं स्टूडेंट को कौन सी
नहीं अपर लेवल रेज कर दिया, एवरीथिंग इज अवेलेबल।
आई जस्ट रिक्वेस्ट मिस्टर संजीव मोंडल जी, सर आप हमारे जो आज के पैनल के जो गेस्ट हैं उनको थोड़ा सा फेलिसिटेट करें आईटीओएस की तरफ से। और आईटीओएस आपका बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता है। मेरे मिशन के अंदर आप लोगों ने जुड़े, टाइम दिया। तो कल एक अपॉर्चुनिटीज होती है हमारे टाइम के अंदर, एक सेशन हमारा टाइम के कारण हमें रोकना पड़ा, हो सकता है कोई भी चीज चलती है। और सबसे बड़ी बात थी कल इसी आईटीओएस में 14 कॉलेजेस के डीन, यूनिवर्सिटी के ओनर्स यहाँ पे थे। तो हमने पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं। आवर मिशन इज नॉट मेकिंग प्रॉफिट, आवर मिशन इज टू डू समथिंग फॉर स्टेट। अभी नेक्स्ट वाला सेशन है, उसके अंदर लोगों अपन हिंदी में इसी तरह से कुछ कनेक्ट करेंगे तो आप लोगों को जो यूथ है ना, तुम देश का भविष्य हो। आज ये जो प्रेजेंट की इकोनॉमी की बात कर रहे हैं ना, इससे बड़ी इकोनॉमी हमारी थी, ये मिस आउट हुई है। तो इससे हमें विश्व गुरु बनाना है। तो हम तो अभी 10 साल 15 साल 20 साल जिएंगे, आप लोग तो 50 साल है इसको सपना पूरा करने के लिए। तो अभी नेक्स्ट जो सेशन आ रहा है उसको अटेंड करो, अलग अलग चीज सीखो। स्कूल में टेक्स्ट बुक में पढ़ाया जाता है, शायद वो कोर्स कब तक काम आएगा नहीं मालूम, वो संदीप जी को सबको मालूम है। लाइफ में प्रैक्टिकल बनो।